Hi guys, JT here, and here's my top 10 Metroidvania games released in 2022 and 2023 that you should consider in the 2023 Steam Summer Sale. So let's get into this. At number 10 we have Ghost Song, a melancholic Metroidvania game with elements reminiscent of Hollow Knight. Developed by Old Moon and published by Humble Games, the game presents a visually stunning alien world filled with biomechanical life and mysterious landscapes, drawing inspiration from films like Akira and Metropolis, as well as Alex Garland's Annihilation. As the protagonist Deadsuit, a robot warrior, you explore the world armed with an arm cannon and other weapons. While the game showcases beautiful art direction, the protagonist's control and movement lack the grace and agility of iconic characters like Samus Aran and the Knight from Hollow Knight. The game incorporates familiar gameplay mechanics from the Metroid series, such as shooting enemies and collecting resources called nanocells. When Deadsuit's health reaches zero, a mechanic reminiscent of Hollow Knight comes into play, where she loses her nanocells and respawns at the nearest save point. Ghost Song offers a challenging experience, with occasional frustrating moments, especially when navigating the non-linear structure and facing difficult bosses. The game's lack of clear direction and intuitive map design can sometimes impede progress and cause confusion. However, the overall experience is praised for its atmospheric world, variety of upgrades and abilities, and manageable consequences upon death. While it falls short of being a masterpiece, Ghost Song serves as a satisfying Metroidvania adventure that can fill the void for fans of the genre. At number 9 we have Have a Nice Death, an action roguelike Metroidvania game developed by Magic Design Studios and published by Gearbox Publishing. In this game you play as Death, the CEO of Death Incorporated, on a mission to show your useless subordinates who's boss. As Death, you embark on a company-wide tour armed with your trusty scythe, battling death-related enemies in different departments of your grisly business. The gameplay is reminiscent of Dead Cells, with fast-paced combat involving scythe attacks, dashing, and using various sub-weapons. You must collect and upgrade equipment, including cloaks with powerful effects and spells that consume mana. Additionally, you can obtain curses that grant passive buffs, allowing you to customize your playstyle. Each run presents choices of where to go next, offering currency, buffs, or challenges. Boss battles are challenging, with screen-filling attacks that require skill and strategy to overcome. Healing orbs called anima can be collected and used to restore health, but the game's punishing nature may make survival difficult. However, a lower difficulty option called Self-Fulfillment Mode provides more healing and gradually reduces enemy damage taken as you die, encouraging improvement. After each run, you unlock permanent upgrades and can purchase new weapons and spells with earned gold. Visually, the game impresses with beautiful animation and a striking art style. Despite some punishing aspects, Have a Nice Death offers superb combat, varied upgrades, and gorgeous visuals, making it a fantastic action roguelike Metroidvania worth exploring. At number 8 we have Dread Delusion, an RPG adventure game that is akin to Morrowind. The game is set in a weird world where you explore a civilization clinging to the asteroids around a Neuron star. There are wizards sailing between islands on magically sealed airships, an atheistic inquisition hunting for the last gods, and a community of flesh-eating zombies that has gone vegetarian thanks to the invention of artificial human meat. Dread Delusion's latest update includes new quests, characters, locations, and combat tweaks, and the developers have built out its main quest with a distinctly Millennia-esque Valkyrie to find in the world, as well as a ruined town taken over by bandits. They've also improved the game's combat and made the fatigue system more generous, addressing some of the complaints players had when the game was first released. In addition to the main quest, Dread Delusion also has a faction reputation system similar to Fallout New Vegas, which allows you to pick your friends among Dread Delusion's assortment of scholars, inquisitors, atheists, and pagans. The game also has a player home on its own floating island, which you can build out and refurbish, and there seem to be secrets and history to uncover there. If you enjoy games like Morrowind or The Witcher, you'll likely enjoy the short sci-fi stories in Dread Delusion's quests, which excel at feeling like self-contained stories with twists. There's little fetching or grinding, so you can enjoy exploring the game's weird world without getting bogged down. Overall, Dread Delusion is a game worth trying out if you're a fan of exploration-forward RPGs with great storytelling and a unique world. With each update, the game keeps getting better, and it's a challenge to resist the urge to jump back in and play more. If you want a more complete experience, you can purchase the bundle and wait for the 1.0 release, so you can experience the game fresh from the beginning. So if you're a fan of exploration-forward RPGs, you might want to check out Dread Delusion. At number 7 we have HAAK, a fast-paced and stylish Metroidvania game set in a post-apocalyptic world. In this game, you play as HAAK, a young man on a mission to find his lost brother and uncover the secrets of a cyber wasteland. The game offers enjoyable exploration, with a lot to collect and exciting fight and movement abilities to acquire. The game features slick art style and responsive controls, demonstrating the developer's dedication to creating a polished experience. While the game can be challenging, generous checkpoints and a lack of severe death penalties make it more forgiving. The inclusion of a coin system allows players to obtain perks if they struggle with certain events or boss fights. Aside from its fun platforming and stylish graphics, the game also presents an interesting story with side quests that offer additional lore. Well-designed characters assist or hinder your progress, adding depth to the world. Rushing through the game leads to a bad ending, encouraging players to explore and backtrack to unlock more content and discover the true ending. HAAK offers a balanced experience, combining linear gameplay with freedom to explore at your own pace. It provides a mix of challenging escape sequences, button-mashy combat, and engaging platforming. Overall, it is an enjoyable Metroidvania game suitable for both newcomers and genre veterans. The game's art design, world building, and settings contribute to its appeal. While not the best Metroidvania ever played, HAAK receives a high rating and leaves players eager for a sequel or another game from the same developers. Get ready to fight your way through deserted cities and post-apocalyptic areas to uncover the truth and ensure a safe return home for both you and your brother. At number 6 we have Haiku the Robot, a Metroidvania game that is compared to the likes of Hollow Knight. You play as a little robot named Haiku, and you find yourself in a post-apocalyptic 2D world where your robot friends have been corrupted by a virus that turned them all evil and out for blood, or in your case, oil. You go on an exploratory journey, gathering new abilities, beating up bad robots, and chatting with uncorrupted robots in hopes of saving the world. The gameplay is a combination of simple combat, puzzle-forward platforming, and boss battles. The junkyards and derelict ruins that you find yourself in are massive, diverse, and filled with platforms and winding corridors. Your weapons have a satisfying pushback that can also allow you to bounce off enemies and sharp environmental hazards. You'll be exploring a labyrinth, and you'll most likely hit dead ends and locked passages, and as per most Metroidvania games, you will unlock different movement abilities over time, allowing you to explore more of this labyrinth. Combat is very finely tuned, and requires you to consider a bit of delay between swings and knockbacks. If this all sounds familiar, that's because much of the inspiration is taken from Hollow Knight, but this game is not as challenging as Hollow Knight. It is also a much shorter experience. In addition, the world is not as bleak or depressing as Hollow Knight, making it feel a bit more easygoing. There are also different chips that you can collect and equip. These chips allow for some customization to better suit your playstyle. You can give yourself more health, increase the length of your sword, or be able to swing faster, among others. Collectible parts drop from enemies that you murder, and they can be spent in the store or used to heal yourself. Healing takes a bit of time, so you have to take that into consideration. This is an excellent Metroidvania game that feels a bit more like a relaxing Hollow Knight. So if you're sick and tired of being killed by giant bugs, maybe you might find some solace in getting killed by robots instead. At number 5 we have Infernax, a brutal platform RPG that pays homage to the 8-bit era of gaming. Developed by Berserk Studio, the game draws inspiration from titles like Castlevania 2, Simon's Quest, and Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link, emphasizing challenge, sadistic design, and overwhelming odds. Set in a land infested with demons and the undead, you step into the role of Lord Elsador, the last hope for restoring the kingdom and preventing the end of days. The game features a classic aesthetic and plenty of gore, presenting itself as a tribute to retro classics. As you guide Lord Elsador through his cursed land, battling Hellspawn and aiding the locals, you'll face gruesome demons and make moral choices with consequences for the kingdom. The gameplay is reminiscent of early Metroidvania games, with exploration, combat, and a day-night cycle affecting the challenges you encounter. Despite its simplistic design and repetition in visuals, locations, and monsters, Infernax captures the spirit of the NES era. The game offers relative freedom to explore, upgrade armor and weapons, and acquire new spells and stat boosts. It is challenging, harkening back to the difficulty of older platformers with its unforgiving mechanics and a lack of health pickups. Infernax is an intense and compelling adventure, providing a solid 7 to 10 hours of gameplay with its nihilistic tone, boss demons, and gory beheadings. It is a throwback to the golden age of gaming, packaged with pixelated visuals, horror comic artwork, a chiptune score, and a price tag that won't break the bank. While the game's 80s gaming mentality may not appeal to everyone, those seeking a sadomasochistic challenge and a dose of 8-bit heathenism will find satisfaction in Infernax. Warm up and prepare for a cathartic experience that will test your skills and spirit. At number 4 we have Rogue Legacy 2, a cheerful and challenging dungeon crawler that has earned its place in the Roguelite Hall of Fame. Developed and published by Cellar Door Games, this sequel revitalizes the series with fresh new ideas, while staying true to the original's immensely enjoyable formula. As a random hero, you navigate procedurally generated levels in a grueling castle filled with tough enemies and valuable gold to loot. When your hero eventually falls, you continue as their descendant with the gold to spend on permanent upgrades, enhancing your chances of success. The game offers an array of unlockable classes, each with unique stats, weapons, talents, and passive abilities. The visual styles of each level are striking, ranging from traditional castles to snow-covered landscapes and magical studies. You will face relentless enemies and platforming challenges such as spiked pits and flaming traps. Rogue Legacy 2 introduces heirlooms that unlock traversal abilities, adding a delightful Metroidvania element and enhancing evasive options. The upgrade system is extensive, providing enhancements, new classes, and game-altering upgrades. The game's progression system will keep you engaged, ensuring the repetition never becomes a slog. Rogue Legacy 2 stays true to the roguelike formula, enticing players to keep coming back for more of its demanding yet endlessly entertaining gameplay and rewarding progression. With enhanced visuals, expanded character options, and delightful traversal abilities, this sequel surpasses its predecessor and stands among the best in the genre. At number 3 we have Patch Quest, a roguelike exploration game. In this game you collect creatures, get into the occasional murder fest, and keep track of all your discoveries. While the world and creatures may seem cute and cuddly, this game will murder you over and over again. You play an explorer in Patchlantis, a world filled with secret paths, treacherous plant life, and monsters that really hate you. Nature has overtaken the island, and it is your job to find out what has happened. Every time you die, the world, or patches connected to each other will change and reshuffle, making each playthrough different. You're equipped with a weapon that can fire various types of ammo, depending on fruits that you find in your journey. You have homing bananas, rapid-fire grapes, explosive onions, among others. Sometimes this game goes full-on bullet hell on you, and these encounters can be quite overwhelming. You can mount monsters and use their skills and abilities to help deal with situations like this. You can even use them to battle other monsters that you encounter. The more your bond grows with your monsters, the more abilities will be available to them. Some monsters can levitate across swamps, and others are super tanky. You can also acquire plants and minerals to further grow your bond. Finding these resources also increases your Explorer rank. Every new level to the Explorer rank unlocks new permanent buffs for your character. In conclusion, Patch Quest is an awesome little adventure with some genuinely tough encounters. However, it manages to balance difficulty with the thrill of exploration and discovery, and never feels repetitive. Thanks to the wealth of creatures to mount and capture and some tough-as-nails combat, this roguelike adventure is quite a treat, and you'll be crazy to pass this one by. At number 2 we have TUNIC, a Metroidvania adventure game. In TUNIC, you embark on a daring adventure as an adorable fox in an isometric Zelda-like world. The game's delightful art style and charming tone resemble the Legend of Zelda series, but beneath its cute exterior lies a challenging experience. TUNIC's world is filled with enemies ready to knock you down, and you should expect to die a lot. The game doesn't focus much on storytelling, but rather encourages exploration and combat. The isometric world is beautifully constructed, with intricately designed environments in both the overworld and dungeons. As you progress, you'll need the right tools and abilities to access certain areas, adding a Metroidvania-like element to the gameplay. TUNIC combines its cute aesthetic with mechanics reminiscent of the Souls series. You'll encounter strange statues that act as checkpoints and respawn enemies, and losing gold upon death adds tension and a tactical element. Combat requires precise timing and stamina management, and the boss battles are particularly enjoyable and challenging. While the game lacks in-depth tutorials, it offers guidance through an old-school instruction manual, adding a puzzle-like aspect to learning the game's mechanics. TUNIC's minor issues include limited button mapping for offensive abilities, occasional longer loading times, and some enemy clipping and positioning problems. Overall, TUNIC offers a unique and captivating experience with its colorful graphics, challenging combat, and rewarding exploration. It successfully combines retro-inspired elements with modern gameplay mechanics, making it a memorable adventure. At number 1 we have Supraland, 6 Inches Under, a first-person Metroidvania. You play as an innocent blue plumber this time around, as opposed to the red prince from the previous game. The town is destroyed by the Reckoning, basically children destroying the town. All the toy people fall below the surface. Underground, a town called Cage Town is set up, run by a dictator called Baron, who abused the toy people. Your goal is to get to the top floor of Cage Town and use it to get back to the surface. This second game in the series is just as funny and well written as the previous game. Cage Town is broken up into 3 floors, and each connects to new interesting areas. This game features a ton of exploration to find various chests, different puzzles, combat sections, and secrets. You'll also obtain new equipment and abilities to allow you to explore more of Cage Town. This exploration is very addictive, as you keep finding new things as you explore. 6 Inches Under doesn't feature a lot of combat, in favor of more clever puzzles and exploration. You have access to a pickaxe that you can upgrade to do various things, and a Tesla coil gun to shoot electricity. Even though combat is not the main focus, it is more challenging this time around. Puzzles are awesome to solve, and some optional puzzles can really test your brain juice. The secrets in this game are extremely creative, and it's always a treat when you find them. So if you like puzzle games or Metroidvanias, Supraland 6 Inches Under is a must-play, especially if you enjoyed the first one. Do you agree with this list? What other games are you buying in the 2023 Steam Summer Sale? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.